Your child's first doctor, your child's first nutritionist, and the role model is you. So, what are you doing to feed them? What are you doing to show them? And what are you doing around them? Because children do not just listen, they observe, and they observe you. If there is a packet of chips in the house, your child did not buy it, you bought it. If there is an aerated drink on the table, your child did not pour it, you did. Lifestyle is caught, it is not taught, and your child is catching everything just looking at you. From antibiotics weakening the immunity to lifestyle disorders that are showing up as ADHD, your children are not born with these problems, they are growing within them. As parents, we need to ask, are we healing them or are we unknowingly just harming them? We all know what is good for our children. We all know that eating these kind of foods are going to take care of their health and eating the other kind of foods are not going to help them in their health. But still, we make those choices. We choose to buy a packet of chips at home, a packet of aerated drinks at home, easy comfort lifestyle choices, which according to us are easy to manage. But for their lives, it will not be easy to manage. Our children are picking up those lifestyle habits from us. But unfortunately, we are in a society that thinks alike. Every birthday party that your child goes to, what does he land up eating? Chips or aerated drinks, those packaged fruit juices which is full of sugar, or a burger or a pizza or noodles. These are just norms, and unfortunately parents have started to believe that if this is not served in birthday parties, then what is the fun of a birthday party? It's the children who are also picking up the same message from you. If this is not served in a birthday party, then how do I enjoy my birthday party? This is what the child is learning from you. Today, a lot of children have issues such as ADHD or an autism. Almost every school, every class has at least one child who is a diabetic. We are seeing thyroid in young girls of just 11 and 12-year-olds. Just 14-year-olds have almost half of their hair as white. Girls who used to get their menarche at 15 years of age are today getting it at 8 and 9, sometimes even 5. Children in school have attention disorders. They are not able to focus on what is being taught in school. This is not how they were born. This is not how they were when they were 1-year-old, 2-year-olds, etc. Something changed in their lifestyle that brought them to this condition. You need to introspect what is it that you did for their lifestyle to change in a way that they landed up with all of this. What is the point of telling them, don't eat this food, it's not good for you. If you eat this kind of food, then you will not be healthy. But the child is watching you eat it. So the child believes, if my parents can eat it, why can't I? You are drinking a glass of alcohol, you are enjoying a sip of a juice, and when the child wants to have the same thing, you say, it's not good for you, you are a small child, you can have it when you are older. What sense does that make? If you are consuming a pack of chips or those popcorns or any junk food that you've bought from the market and you are teaching your child, don't eat this, otherwise you will not become tall. But you are consuming it, and the child believes that if my father is consuming it and my father is of this particular height, why do I have to worry? We are bringing up confused children because we are telling them that this is not good for you, but they can see their parents having it. Teachers are telling them, don't eat this kind of food, but when they go home, they open the drawers of their kitchen cabinet and find the same junk food lying there. Who bought it? The child did not. And to add up to the confusion, they open up the television and you have ads of all kind. Drink this juice, have this pop, this burger, this pizza, these chips. It's such a confused state for a child when the textbooks are talking absolutely something different to consume, and what is kept in front of the child is something absolutely different. Are we not bringing up a confused generation that is going to grow up nutritionally very, very deficient and metabolically extremely weak? Today, a lot of young girls have PCOS, PCOD. Imagine a state when they are supposed to start a brand new chapter into their lives, and they are starting that chapter with imbalances in hormones, leading to issues such as PCOD, PCOS, irregular periods, and so many other issues. Each of those aerated drinks that you are consuming and probably exposing your children to, do you know what it contains? Excessive sugars, leading to a sugar rush, leading to an attention deficit. And if the child, after consuming all of this, is not able to pay attention in school, does not get good grades, you blame the same child for not putting enough effort into studies. This refined food, processed food, junk food, aerated drinks is not just giving you a sugar rush. It's also giving you a carbon rush. It's also adding up phosphorus. It's giving you MSG. What is all of that caffeine in the chocolate giving to that child? It is going to lead to nervous system issues. It is going to lead to issues as far as alertness is concerned, brain fog is concerned. And then what's the point of blaming your children for not being focused and disciplined? If you consume it, if the television tells them to consume it, if they see children around consuming it, but you tell them not to eat it, isn't that going to grow up a rebellious child? Parents are so particular about getting good grades by their children. Parents are so particular for sending them to the best of extracurricular facilities to give them good kind of exposure. But what's the point of those n number of classes, n number of extracurricular activities that you put them on if they don't have the basic of life, which is good health? You know, when a child is really small, if you introduce them to a cucumber, they would love to eat it. If you introduce them to a tomato, a boiled bean, or maybe a little bit of vegetables, they will love to consume it. But if the same child is introduced with sugar, with your cakes and pastries and chocolates and toffees, will he want to eat that steamed bean or the cucumber or the tomato or any other vegetable? And then the child becomes a little fussy eater, and the child chooses, I like this kind of food, I don't like this kind of food. This is because the child got choices. So if you have introduced the child with options that are filled with sugar, that are filled with MSG, that are filled with addictions, why will the child want to eat fruits and vegetables? And then you blame the same child for being a fussy eater? Their motor sensory skills are not completely developed. They cannot be blamed for this. It is us who introduce the wrong things, who introduce the wrong lifestyles, probably not with an intention to do it, but we are just not aware. It's high time we become aware and we become conscious. If we have chosen to have children, then to grow them in a particular manner is our responsibility. It is not just going to come with servants taking care of your children in your absence when you are having a social party to attend. It comes with a bonding of love. It comes with time that you give to your children, and without that nothing can change. If the child is going to school and having low concentration or focus in the school, then it is the inadequate or imbalanced breakfast that we served them. Or it could even be lack of rest. Maybe they just didn't sleep in time. They were watching television for too long, or they just did not have a restful sleep because they ate too late in the night. No servant in your absence is going to take care of your child the way you can. No nutritionist, no dietitian can fill the gap of your attention. I'm so sorry if this is coming out very aggressively, but yes, there are efforts that are required. It does not come so easily. I understand that parents are busy. In the lifestyle of today, both parents have to work, and it becomes extremely difficult to give that kind of time to children, or at least have the mind space to be able to think about children in such a way. But it is us who chose to have children, didn't we? And then if we can't give attention to something that is our own future and is also going to drive their future, then what's the point of just running behind the survival mode and letting the aesthetics just get killed? Yes, it might sound like a bitter truth, but what is the point of rewarding your children with the wrong kinds of things? Say, for example, each time your child is supposed to get good grades, you say, you get a 95% and I will take you to Pizza Hut. You get a 95% in this exam and I will give you your favorite burger. What's the point of rewarding with junk? This junk is eventually going to dampen their health and it's not going to help them get good grades in future. Is it so important to be bonding over junk food or bonding over the wrong kinds of food? Why can't we bond over a picnic? Why can't we bond over fruits? Why can't we bond over a book? Another very important thing is overfeeding. We love to feed our children much more than what they want to take. I am not hungry, my dear mummy, daddy. No, eat more, it's going to make you tall. No, I'm not hungry, mummy, but eat more, this is going to give you good health. Why are we overfeeding them? Whether it is our grandparents of the children or whether it is just the parents who feel that if I feed them more food, they will grow up better, they will grow up taller. Well, how many times have we seen our own children roaming around with pot bellies? And how many of such children exist in our own apartments, our own societies, or people around us? This, of course, makes a difference because of the high sugar content that is hidden in the processed and the refined foods. And eventually, these same children grow up to be ones with brain fog, depression, or mental disorders. Sugars, your salts, your processed foods are absolutely the wrong example to set before them. They are the worst enemies. Not that we don't know about it. Of course we know about it. But we can't implement it. Isn't that a restriction that we have? I'm not able to change myself. How am I going to change my child? Yes, setting the example starts within. It starts with us. And if we can't change, we cannot expect them to change. Our children require nutrition. Our children do not require food to fill their tummies. They require nutrition. And that nutrition will come from a daily dose of fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, sprouts. If we have these 5 things in the diet of our child on every single day, we are meeting their nutritional requirements. But is it so difficult to put these 5 things into their diet? It is difficult if you start at the age of 14, but it's not going to be difficult if you start at the age of 2. And even if it is going to be difficult at the age of 8 and 9 and 10 and 14, it is an effort that we need to put in, at least for the remaining future that they have ahead. We choose to go for a party or socialize with our friends, and what will the children eat at home? So we very conveniently order a pizza. Is that what they really wanted? They wanted love and they wanted time. And if the same habits of eating well were introduced to them early on, then that love and that time in an early age would have probably brought them into a habit. A child is not born as a fussy eater. We unfortunately make them a fussy eater. It's so difficult to digest, isn't it? It's very tough for parents to take it. I have 2 children and I know it's not easy. It's extremely difficult. But it is our actions that determine what is right and what is wrong. They see and believe that my parents are doing this and this is good for me. Our children are growing up into a sedentary lifestyle. Just the way we sit at work every single day from morning to evening working on our computers, today our children are getting their tuitions online. Our children are having their chess classes online. Our children are playing video games online. Our children are watching content online. If everything is online, do you realize that at that age, when they are supposed to go out and play in the sun, we are not giving them the sun exposure, but we are giving them the radiations and electromagnetic fields that are coming from that box or that gadget. How harmful is that for that child's brain? We will not realize now, but only later. When the child will have a weak immunity, when the child will have low metabolism, when the child will have lifestyle disorders, unfortunately, when he has reached his 20s or 30s, too late for us to change, but the child will probably blame us only. I'm amazed to see that today a lot of children are attending storytelling sessions but online. Isn't this a time of bonding? If parents can't do it and you're hiring somebody else to take sessions like this, at least this must be offline to create the environment of love, respect, and that special bonding through time. Yes, your children do not have to be sedentary. If you have to put them into classes, put them into sports, a lot of them. What is the point of saying that I will not let my girl play out in the sun because too much of sun will spoil her complexion? Excuse me, that complexion of hers is necessary when she is 18 or 19 or 20. That young girl of 5 and 8 and 12 does not care for her complexion, so don't even put that into her head. Every tanning will go, but the health of the real skin will come from good immunity, which will come from the sun. One very important point, especially with respect to schools, we love to send our children to good quality schools with good facilities, good infrastructure. But when our children go to that school and eat the school meals, who determines the menu of those meals? Yes, it is the school administration who does that, but it is also your parent bodies who go to the same school administration and say, how can my children eat this? This is so boring. It is us who is controlling even the school meals. If you can't cook for them and the school is ready to give healthy meals, at least don't bring in junk there. I have seen parents speaking up into, your school parent-teacher meetings that this is a very boring school meal. At least once in a week, introduce a pasta or introduce a noodle so that my child gets interested in eating it. You are setting the example. You are making a habit, not just for your child, but you are changing the habits of thousands of children going to the same school. A lot of your allergies, immune reactions, immunity-related problems, lifestyle problems like a PCOS or a PCOD or a diabetes or thyroid in children is because of some lifestyle choices that we made as parents. Of course, it was unknowingly. We did not do it knowingly. But it is time for us to become aware, and if we already knew it, it's time to just implement it. We will miss out on a very significant part of their upbringing, their growth, that is going to make a phenomenal difference in their physical body and also their mental and emotional state of mind when they grow up. We do want to grow up our children as balanced individuals, don't we? But for that, if we do not make efforts, it's going nowhere. The child does not know, the child is not educated enough, and the child does not have the exposure as such. It is us who has to bring it. It's a bitter truth. It's an unfortunate truth. But if we don't change our own selves, we cannot change our children. We don't have the right to bring them up and then blame them for not doing certain things right. Of course, destiny has a role to play. Of course, genetics have a role to play. But whatever is in our control must be done by us. Is that too much to expect? Sincere apologies if this has come out very, very aggressive, but I just felt, looking at the health of most children today, that this is the need of the hour and we need to address it. If you have loved the content, please like, share and subscribe. I would love to share more such content with you. Please comment. I reply to every comment that comes onto my channel. Till we meet again in another video, Namaste. See you again.